Hey, what's going on, guys? Before we get into this video, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe to my content. I'm doing a lot of off-season videos until the NBA season starts back up in October. So we'll have a lot of off-season stuff to talk about, as well as gaming content. I only have one out so far. I'm definitely going to be filming plenty more video game content. Maybe I may do a playthrough of Mortal Kombat, NBA 2K. I may do some Fortnite gameplay as well. So just be on the lookout for that. Let's talk about the Los Angeles Lakers and their situation with LeBron James. Now, it's been a weird offseason for the Lakers and especially LeBron James, but obviously he's going to be expected to be with the team. Rich Paul of Clutch Sports said last month that LeBron knows the Lakers are building for the future, and he also wants to compete for championships. We understand the difficulty in winning now while preparing for the future, and I'm reading this off the New York Times. It set off a tornado of speculation that Bron might try to leave LA, even though he had just picked up his $52.6 million contract option to play for the Lakers. Obviously, it set off a wildfire of speculation when it comes to LeBron and his future in LA. LeBron's been involved with a lot of trade rumors. Recent posts and reports have been coming out that the Dallas Mavericks are the favorites to land LeBron, and then you have teams like the Golden State Warriors, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Ironically, LeBron played there twice in his career, left after a 6-year tenure from 2004 to 2010, and then re-signed with them in 2014 after spending 4 seasons with the Miami Heat, and then leaving in 2018 for the LA Lakers, obviously. Now, as much as some fans would love LeBron staying in LA, I personally do think that he should leave the Lakers for the betterment of the team and for his future, since he still wants to compete, go to a team like the Cavaliers and all that other stuff. I will tell you right now that I wouldn't mind to see LeBron in LA for one more season. Obviously, I'm thankful that he's been on my team for 7 years. And of course, I'm thankful he won the championship, or he helped us win the championship in 2020 during the NBA bubble. Since then, outside of, I guess, 2023, it has been nothing more than a disappointing ending to a lot of good seasons outside of the 2021-22 season where the Lakers didn't even make the playoffs. We lost in the first round to Phoenix in 2021, but that was mainly because of Anthony Davis getting hurt. And I don't want people saying DeAndre Ayton gave AD a lot of trouble. No, Booker was torching us. AD was the reason why we went up 2-1. I don't know how that's such a hard concept to understand. A lot of people thought DeAndre Ayton was the reason why the Lakers lost, which it really wasn't. But I digress. 2023, we were able to make the conference finals. Unfortunately, we got swept by a better team, but in my opinion, we were kind of blessed in that run because we faced an immature Grizzlies team and a Warriors team that didn't really have size. And then we ended up being a first-round exit the last 2 years. More recently, an embarrassing loss to the Minnesota T-Wolves. I understand Minnesota is better than your average 6 seed, but losing in the fashion you did, especially with no big and Rudy Gobert torching you, is absolutely embarrassing, and it should never happen ever again. Especially since OKC made a fool out of him in the conference finals too. But that's neither here nor there. Well, I guess it is here and there. But point being is that there has been a lot of questions about the future of the Lakers. Obviously, there is no question that the Lakers are going to be building around Luka. And right now, I've been seeing a lot of reports, and I've seen Dreamers Pro cover this, even though he is the biggest LeBron hater out there. I am not a LeBron hater by any means, and this video is not meant to take a dump on LeBron or criticize LeBron. This is just me giving you my viewpoint and perspective. Now, obviously, there has been a lot of reports that LeBron, the Lakers front office, have not seen eye to eye, and they've been at odds with each other. And then other reports are indicating that Luka does love playing with LeBron and all the other stuff. So it's kind of a confusing conundrum. But now that we have a report from Shams, I'm reading it off of Yahoo Sports. Shams went on SiriusXM's NBA radio show and predicted a potential timeline within which Bron's future could be decided. He states, and I quote, "The moment that the trade was made when Luka goes for AD, it was like, okay, AD is going to join a win-now team in Dallas. Luka is the face of the franchise for the next 8 to 10 years, which was really the vision. But anytime you're in LA, the Lakers, the goal is to compete for a championship. And that team was actually in home court competition. They ended up staying in even after the trade, so that set some expectations. Shams also pointed out the moves that the Lakers have made in the offseason that indicate they're still in the process of figuring out how to compete instead of having a blueprint to win. Wow. Bron, on the other hand, is 40 years old. He's going to be 41. He wants to play for a championship next season. He's made that abundantly clear. his agent, Rich Paul, told me that very directly. He wants a realistic chance to compete for a championship. Okay, already talked about that. He feels clearly that the Lakers are in a more futuristic mindset. If one side says I want to compete for a championship and the other side wants to compete for the future, where does that meet on the road that we see? I think that situation will play out over the next 2 months. I think some hard conversations will eventually need to happen here. So pretty much Shams is saying that LeBron could be off the team as soon as October. For some context, y'all, the Karl Anthony Towns trade to the New York Knicks happened a month before the season started. I think it was like the day before media day, where it was announced that the Minnesota T-Wolves traded Karl Towns to the New York Knicks for Julius Randle. So that means we could potentially see another trade similar to the Karl Towns trade, or even the Mikal Bridges trade that the Nets and the Knicks made last year. We could see something along those lines, because even though they say there's no trade market value for LeBron James, I personally do not believe it, because look, everyone's saying how great he was at 40 years old, and that hasn't really changed. LeBron throughout the season looked really, really good. Even in the games we lost, LeBron looked really good, even at his advanced stage. So I personally do not believe that there is no trade market for LeBron. There absolutely should be at least a team that would love to have him. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers would love to have him back. The Dallas Mavs would like to have him, especially with Kyrie and AD and D'Lo. He's played with all of them together. But even more so, there's been a lot more drama when it comes to LeBron James and his camp being at odds with the LA Lakers front office. Obviously, I watched Dreamers Pros live through and through, where there was a report that the Lakers contacted Luka about DeAndre Ayton and not LeBron himself. And that set off a lot of, I mean, that story was kind of weird to me, because obviously Bron was seen with DA and Luka and Jake LaRavia and I think Vanderbilt as well during the Summer League game. Obviously, I take that type of stuff at face value. And then obviously another report came out that LeBron is furious with the Lakers because they quote unquote didn't appreciate his tenure there. And let me go on a bit of a side tangent about LeBron. And I'm saying this as a fan. I'm not going to join guys like Scap Attack and Dreamers Pro when it comes to attacking LeBron. But I will say this about Bron. What do you mean that they didn't value you? They pulled all the strings in the world to get you. They let a young Julius Randle go. Obviously, we see the player that Randle is now. They had to move a lot of assets for to get you Anthony Davis. They had to trade Lonzo Ball. They had to trade Josh Hart. They had to trade Brandon Ingram, all of them to the Pelicans to get AD. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, what do you mean they didn't appreciate you? They drafted your son too, dog. Like, I don't get what LeBron means. And again, I'm very grateful that he's been a Laker for 7 years, and I'm grateful that he's done a lot of good for my team, in spite of the fact that a lot of people don't like him. I'm one of the very few grateful Laker fans to appreciate such a great player that's on my team. But even then, it's just like, Bron, you're gonna be 40. You're gonna be 41 by the end of the year. I mean, yeah, you're gonna be 41 by the end of the year. Excuse me. You're 40 right now. And obviously, they can't build around a 40-year-old version of you. Maybe 10 years ago, hell yeah, they would have done anything and everything to build a contender around you. But because of the fact that you are old and it doesn't seem like you have enough years left in the league and you may retire after this upcoming season, it's just like, what's the point of building around you if all it's going to be is just a pretty mid-level team, a team that will struggle to make the playoffs and all that other stuff. So I didn't like what LeBron said there. Obviously, you guys may interpret it another way, but I personally was not a fan of what LeBron said about the Lakers not valuing him, because we've done a lot for you in 7 years. We gave you Anthony Davis. We gave you a whole lot of role pieces. We even moved the mountains to get you Russell Westbrook, and he wanted LeBron wanted Russ on the team because he thought a big three was going to help him win a championship, because we were banking on the fact at the time that the Brooklyn Nets with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden were going to be back, especially after it took an overtime loss for the Milwaukee Bucks to beat just Kevin Durant by himself at the time. And truth be told, I honestly thought, like, after we traded D'Lo and before we traded for Luka, within the 2-month stretch, the Lakers were looking like the Lakers of old again. What do I mean by that? We were playing really great defense. Anthony Davis was playing the best basketball I've ever seen him play since the bubble. LeBron looked really good. Austin Reeves and Max Christie were starting to find some chemistry together in the backcourt. Max Christie was our best 3-and-D guard since KCP and Danny Green. But even with that, it's just like it's a whole lot of nonsense that has been going on, especially with LeBron as camp saying they didn't do enough to appreciate him, which makes no sense at all. So with all these mixed reports coming out, it is definitely safe to assume that LeBron will not be in a Laker uniform for much longer. At least that's what it looks like to me. Again, I'm grateful that he's been on my team through all these years. He's been through a whole multitude of cycles with rotating Laker teams. One without Anthony Davis, those 6.5 years with AD, and then going with Luka and such. But I wouldn't be surprised if we do end up trading Bron within the next 2 weeks, the next 2 months, before the start of the season. You know what I'm saying? So I would not be surprised. Again, it doesn't change the fact that I am forever grateful that he donned a Laker jersey for 7 years. A lot of great memories with us. Do I think he should be in the Lakers Hall of Fame? Part of me says yes. The other part of me says no. But what do you guys think? Should he be in the Laker Hall of Fame? Let me know in the comments below. But right now, it looks like the future of the Lakers is looking brighter when it comes to building around Luka. But when it comes to LeBron James and Clutch Sports and the rest of his camp, there is a lot of questions hanging in the balance when it comes to LeBron's future in LA. Again, considering he'll be 41, and for all I know, this could be his last year in the league, and we just don't know it yet. So, what do you guys think? Do you guys think it's over for LeBron and the Lakers? Do you think we should keep him? Do you think we should trade him before the start of the season? Let me know in the comments below. I'm not going to really end the video here just yet. I want to do a quick touch on the Clippers signing Bradley Beal. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about the LA Clippers too much because I already talked about them in my previous offseason vid when it came to the Clippers trading Norman Powell for John Collins. Obviously, I said in that video that if the Clippers signed Bradley Beal, you traded Norman Powell and you got another guy that plays exactly like Norman Powell. But this version of Norman, as we saw plenty of times with Washington, next to John Wall, he's a better defender, he's a better playmaker, and in my opinion, he's a better shooter. Because I think, again, the problem with Norman was that he was way too streaky. Even in this past season, where I thought he was robbed of most improved player, then again, the injuries didn't help him at all. There were times where Norman looked really, really, really streaky. And when his shot could not fall, it really didn't help the Clippers at all. In fact, it made the Clippers a lot worse because when Norman is streaky, James can't get anything going, and Kawhi is your only source of offense. The Clippers were not going to win too much ball games, and we saw it firsthand in that Game 7 against the Denver Nuggets. And I think Bradley's main issue when it came to the Phoenix Suns is that there was really no playmaker to distribute the ball. It was just Bradley, get the ball and score. Devin, get the ball and score. Kevin, get the ball and score. There was no one that could set them up. They tried it with Tyus Jones and Monte Morris, and obviously those two signings fell on its face because Monte was injured and Tyus really wasn't all that good. And I think he signed with the Orlando Magic, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like he'll do much better there because the Magic finally have a playmaker coming off the bench, and he could be a starter too with Jalen Suggs out. He can go back to that role that he had with the Memphis Grizzlies, backing up Ja and being the secondary playmaker next to him and Desmond Bane. But I digress. I think the problem with Bradley with Phoenix is that there was too many mouths to feed. Now you have a really good distributor in James Harden, and it'll allow Bradley Beal to play off the ball. And most importantly, he could potentially become the second option, and James could be the third option like he was with Brooklyn. But again, this move really didn't move me as far as, the Clippers won the offseason. No, they had a really good offseason. But like I always said, anyone that watches basketball knows that the Clippers are a good team. But that's all they're going to be known as. And I don't think these moves really wow me, that I just only slow clap for them because, yeah, they answered their questions. They got a much more consistent shooter, and they got a guy that could play the four in John Collins. I think they got better, but I don't think the Clippers are the winners of this offseason. I am sorry. And I'm sorry, Clipper fans. But that's just my opinion. But that's it. I'm gonna stop it right there. Again, going back to the Lakers, what do you guys think the future of the Lakers should be with LeBron James? And if you're a Clipper fan, you want to comment on this video or my previous video, what do you guys think of the offseason moves that the Clippers made? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you think they should have ran it back with Norman Powell and all that other stuff? Do you think they should blow up the roster entirely? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Again, more offseason videos and gameplay content coming soon. But until then, that's the end of this video. I'm X. Deuces.